down and the music playing hella loud.
Welcome back to Echoes and Aesthetics. I am your host, Ileana, and today I have the most honor to speak to none other than world-renowned DJ, Salvador Lara. Salvador.
Hi.
Let's just jump in. I want to talk about DJ world, because
Perfect.
Music is amazing to me, but you're the one that creates the vibe in the room. So tell me, how did you get started?
Oh, well, actually, it's very interesting. Do you remember a place called Bucanas?
I do, actually.
Oldest one, OG, like people know it.
I do.
It's really by Pelicano. So I used to go to those a lot in high school, in one of the raves and stuff. And there was this one specific show that I went to by myself because everyone was taking forever to answer, and I was like, I'll just go. And it was actually Wolfgang Gardner. I don't even think he tours anymore, but I remember that I was in that show, and I took a moment just to look around people that were there. And I just noticed that everyone there was carefree. They were literally just enjoying the present moment, didn't care who was next to them, didn't care how they looked. They weren't even on their phones. They were just literally chilling and enjoying the music.
Was this like in the 90s, the 2000s?
Oh, 2000s, like 2012.
Yeah, I'm 40, so I'm just like...
you can't tell. If you don't tell me, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'm like, for me, the clubbing was like in the early 90s, so that's why I'm asking, like, when was this?
No, you're good. But yeah, it really around like 2013, around there.
Okay.
2014, because technically I was illegal to go in. Like I wasn't 18 yet, so I was like, oh.
Don't let your mom know, okay? You was sneaking out.
Those were the open for all shows, you know?
Okay.
And I remember that I was just so relaxed, enjoying it. And I looked up at the DJ and I was like, wow, I want to be that person. I want to be the person that could get all these people out of their head and into their bodies and just enjoy the full present, where some people can heal using their music, you know, or they can be like, let out their emotions and just basically vibe all at once.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what got me into like making music and DJing at the most part, just being able to have this euphoric vibe being created for everyone that's in front of you.
That's beautiful. So who were your biggest influences growing up in this industry? Or was it a specific DJ, or was like an actual musician or an artist that got you and you said, I want to jump in that vibe? Or was it that specific DJ that you're like, yes?
Him. Actually, well, I want to say it's mostly my sister's the one that got me into a lot of the music. So most of my music taste came from my sister from a younger age. She would always send me like all the R&B and stuff. And then once I found like electronic dance music, where it's EDM, I started listening to like Deadmau5, Eric Pride's, Cascade, all this good stuff, Morgan Page, and it just started feeling something clicking very naturally to me.
I'm a Morgan fan.
But yeah, those like clicked to me, and after that, I guess I started immersing myself more into the actual scene and being more involved in the area.
Yeah.
I was going to Bucanas almost like every other week when they had the events. I don't even know how I paid for it because they were expensive back then, and it just got me really into the zone of saying like this music. Yeah, like this music, it just somehow clicked. Like it made me move.
Yeah.
And that's how I started going from there, exploring more. And the DJ that actually inspired me to this day, his name is San Polo. He makes his genre is called existential dance music, which sounds kind of funky. But it's just his music hits a different level. It's more of a soul. It's more like it makes you move, but it also makes you reflect on whatever you like are feeling.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel good overall. So it makes you literally be present in that moment. So he's one of the biggest DJs that kind of like, I guess, makes me rethink a lot when I make music, because it's his way of doing it is just amazing.
That's beautiful. So can I ask this is like, because you're also a producer.
Yes.
What is the difference between creating music as a producer versus for a track versus creating a production for like an EDM show? Certainly they're totally different, right?
Yeah. So I guess what makes a difference is that when you're a music producer, it's you basically telling a story. It's like any artist, you putting whatever energy you want into your creation.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors come into what do you want the listener to get from your track? How do you want them to feel? How do you want certain sounds to go into the track at specific moments to make sure that in that moment you feel euphoric or you feel a specific type of way? So I think that's like the difference between actual music production and then prepping a set for a DJ set, like more like EDM show or a rave. It's a whole different process. It's kind of like the same, but you're not designing each track, I guess, down to like the stand level. You are designing each track in different orders to make sure that the flow of people are literally going in a specific direction that you want. So where do you want them to start? How do you want it to feel? Where do you want it to rest? Where do you want it to be jumping? Where do you want it to be reconnected? And it's like a full-on, I'll be honest, an hour takes like 60 tracks around there.
Yeah.
And I usually do 80 because I transition really fast. And when I put myself together, I think of, okay, I want my people to slowly get into my zone in the vibe, and then from there be jumping euphoric and just constantly be in a happy state. And then towards the end, I want to close it with something more emotional and impactful, a song or something that I know will.
Because like creating that DJ vibe, like I've noticed it with several DJs, like they create like this entire energy, and it's like a movement where you're like, one moment you're like, yeah, and then towards the end you have like it's calming down, and then eventually it's literally like storytelling but through music.
That's actually what it is. So when you like, difference between those two is that when you're mixing a show, you really kind of have to have prepared what you want them to feel in every part of your set. But you also have to be ready to see how they are reacting to what you're doing to make sure that it all flows completely, like, together.
Okay. Now, so based on this new information, like, what is the coolest gig that you've ever had that you were like, I killed that ish, or just even just memorable period?
Well, so I have like two, but I'll start with the first one. So the first one would be honestly opening up for De Oro in the Coliseum. I think to this day has been my biggest show ever.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I had around 2,400 people in front of me, which was very intimidating.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, I was very shaky and nervous, and I was just, ooh, I got this. And it was just so memorable because once I was up there and I started playing the first, like 5 tracks, I was super nervous. I didn't want to look up. I was like, just focused
like,
to what I'm doing.
Don't mess up.
Literally, that wasn't really like, please don't do it, and then you mess up, right? But I was like, okay, I got this. And then after that, it just felt very calm, like very calming. I know it sounds very weird saying calming because people are like, oh my God, you were so hyped, but it felt very natural.
Yeah.
And I just remember that I had produced some tracks.
That's when you know that you are in the right state. Like, I always tell people, like, if you're in something that causes you anxiety, then that's not for you. But if it's something that gives you peace of mind and you just feel at ease, it's like you found your calling.
Yes, that's how I started it. That's what I felt back, in Buchanan Mountain to DJ. It felt calm. It felt good. I felt like, oh, this is like something I want to do. And well, going back to De Oro, I jump over a lot of topics. Just FYI. Well, basically, I remember that I did this mashup for this track. Well, I did a mashup of Vicente Fernandez, just because I was like, I want to have this ready. So I prepped it the first time, technically playing something that I had created, which is a mashup is you create it, but it's not sort of fully you. And it worked so perfect. Like, I remember I had a video of everyone just singing Vicente Fernandez, and like, just having a moment of me looking like, wow, this is going great. People are enjoying it. I know I probably like messed up, but only I noticed because, I'm very perfectionist about stuff, but they didn't notice, which is good. Yeah. And it was such a great feeling. Like, I remember that day, I was like, wow, like, is this what it feels like? I want to keep doing this. It's like, I feel like I'm doing really good so far, and I should keep this vibe and just keep moving forward with this potential of having all these people in front of me enjoy their present moment. Because at that moment, I know that everyone there had no worries. But anyways.
That's the beautiful thing, is like when you can create this atmosphere of just love and care, like everybody just vibing, like, because it's crazy. Like, I've been to several EDM concerts, and it is like this wave of energy that's like, I want to call it heady. But
okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
It feels heady. It's almost like if you're on like a hallucinogenic, but you're not. You're just literally waving on the energy that everyone is flowing on, And to me, I'm just like, man, I wish I could bring like my mom,
Yes.
But my family, they're like hardcore Christians, and I'm just like, man, you don't even know you're all missing out.
You're like,
perspective. Everything's a matter of perspective nowadays. I'm just like, just jump into different perspectives and allow your life to just go. Now, obviously, don't do crazy-ish, but unless you're into that. But but I'm like, I am nobody to go off and judge people on their actions. At the end of the day, we're all human, and we all deserve to just live our lives how we want,
Sure.
Now, when it comes to, as a performer, like, how do you prepare mentally and physically before going on stage?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. So, I guess mentally, when I go up there, actually, this goes back into preparing a set. I practice literally in my house for, I'm gonna say, a solid 7 hours, maybe not straight, but like a couple of days. And I envision myself how I would feel if I was listening to it on the other side. So I'm like, okay, this makes me jump. This makes me feel like this way. This makes me feel calm. And then right before I get into the set, I literally just do one quick, I guess, run through, like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just so I can get into the zone, being like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then honestly, I just breathe. Like I just take a deep breath, and I remember I'm like, okay, I know you were very hard on yourself with perfectionist, like being a perfectionist in your set. And I just remind myself, you're good. Like I know you might be nervous, but I know that the nervousness is actually excitement. So that's why I flip the switch. I'm like, okay, you're not nervous, you're excited. And then that's how I go up rep. I'm like, okay.
You know what? Nervous and excitement almost feels exactly the same.
Yes.
It's almost like, it's like my palms are sweaty, my heart is racing, and it's like I feel itchy all of a sudden. Why do I feel itchy? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like, what is going on? And it's not like until you get through it, because even myself, like as an artist, like like the biggest stage that I've sang in front of was in front of 5,000 people, and it was Los Angeles.
That's awesome.
And the crazy part is there were people that actually knew me. And so when I heard, I said to myself, as long as nobody says my name, I'm good. And the first thing I step into this, like, I'm like, oh no. My hands started getting sweaty. I could feel my legs shaking. And I'm like, are they going to catch that on camera? Am I shaking so hard that anyone can see it? And afterwards, everyone's like, oh my God, you sounded so beautiful. And I'm just like, you don't even know. Like, this is crazy. I don't think that as an artist, like, you ever get rid of the nerves.
I don't think
like,
so,
you never get rid of the nerves. They never go away. And it could be with a small crowd. It could be with a big crowd. But the nervousness is just never goes away.
I feel like you should learn to cope with it.
You just cope with it. Just go with it. Yeah. Now, how do you keep your performances, like, just fresh and exciting? You know, after doing so many shows, like, you obviously don't want to bore people, but like, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it new, you know? So you created a new sound, like...
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well,
wait, tell me.
I guess my new sound is the way of my music. I didn't even know it was a new sound until one of my friends that produces as well. Like, hey man, I'll listen to my stuff. And he's like, you have this like bassy kind of sound. Like every time if I hear a track, I know it's like you made it because it has a specific type of style. And he just says it's bassy. I don't know what that means. I just know it's bassy for some reason. I like the bass. It's really good.
I love the bass.
It sounds like, I don't know, it makes you feel like more internal, so it makes you kind of move naturally without having to think about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like why I use more of the bass. But that's more like one of the side projects for my actual music. But for my sets, what I do is that I know the music industry moves really, really fast. Like one day you can have a top track in that week and next week it's nothing. Yeah. So what I try to do for every set is that I try to always be looking up fresh music that comes out daily. If a song is a year old or even months old, it's already too old. You know, like I will only put music that is technically, I guess, classics. There will be like one or two just to have people engage more with you, because at the end of the day, it's sort of like a give and take, you know? So the way to have like everything different is that I try to get at least one classic song so I can get everyone in the room that maybe friends of friends are like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'm not a big fan, but I'll go, just to get everyone engaged. And once everyone's engaged in that moment, then I can put in the new stuff that has come out, the new stuff that I feel is great, maybe in some tracks of my own. Just because at that moment, I'll have their full attention. And they'll be more in sync with each other. So that's kind of what I do to make sure that all my sets are fresh. And like, I guess new and people don't get bored is that I always try to look for that specific newer music, but as long as keeping the music that people know already. Because some people, you know, like tracks will come out yesterday and I'll play them the next day, but then you won't know because you haven't heard it yet.
Yes.
But it's just putting it in specific places. That's just how it is.
Now, when it comes to, because you also do engineering work, so you do the production side. Like, are there any artists that you're working with right now, or are you just are you more like a beat maker?
So right now, I currently not working with any other artists. I do have some planned collaborations with, there was this one girl that she must send me a message. She's like, hey, do you make music? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I would like to sing for one of her tracks. I'm like, cool. So I'm going to meet her actually on Sunday. So I'm pretty excited for that one. But I do have some collaboration with other friends that do make music. And it's really cool when you get to people of different, like, I guess, styles and put them together because you're doing something very awesome. Yeah. I do have some great collaborations with one of my friends. His name is Swamp. Well, his name is Swamp Station. Yeah. And other tracks that I made with him have actually hit really good. One of them was called Cool Mix. Okay. I think that's one of our biggest tracks, and it works pretty awesome.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you right straight up. Like, I already heard your styles, and I'm like, okay, I'm obsessed. So I got 2 songs that I'm like, can you remaster them? Yes. But with your style, because like I've always wanted to like work with a DJ that can listen to a song and be like, I can make it my own, but it's still the same song, but you add just that I call it twang. You know, you give it that twang.
A little soft in the side.
Exactly. I'm like, wait, for the longest time I kept like sending my music to DJs. I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't it. And I'm like, no, it's not the sound. It's not the sound. But I keep trying. And I'm like, I found your stuff. And I'm just like,
Yay. Of course, yes, I know. I would love to work with you. It'd be great. I love collaborating. Collaborating, at the end of the day, I think it's ideal.
it's IDGAF and Look at Me Now. Yeah, one's a very pop song and the other one is like a hip hop R&B opera.
Hey, that's actually interesting. The opera.
Hip hop R&B opera.
That's good.
And it's all in one song.
Really?
Yes,
That's
the
awesome.
crazy part. Now, for those, what is one technical skill every aspiring artist or producer should master in your industry?
A technical skill. Ooh, okay. So for production, I think a technical skill is knowing how to EQ, which is basically, well, you should know what EQ means,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I think that's the most technical skill you have to learn. Like, it's the EQ and the mixing mastering. Because at the end of the day, especially when you're a DJ and you produce, well, you do everything from like 0 to finish. So you have to be able to do what an audio engineer does.
Yeah.
You can probably send it to other people, but you know, at the end of the day, if you want to keep it more your style, you have to know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most technical part that you have to really know is how to EQ and how to mix and master your own music. Because then your ear will know how to distinguish when something sounds good, when it sounds off, when it sounds a little bit too much. And I think that's the most technical part. And then for mixing, I think the most technical part is just reading the room. I'm gonna be honest. Like more than learning how to use equipment, it's literally how to read the room. Because sometimes what you have in mind doesn't like flow with people in front of you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to catch that on time, you will lose the crowd. Like you will completely lose the whole vibe and people will not even be vibing anymore. They'll probably even like separate.
Disassemble. I've had those instances in certain places that I've been to where I'm just like, why? It was cool. And then I had to go tell a DJ, go back to the other songs. Like you just killed the vibe. And then they're just like, they're in their own set. I'm just like, no. And then sure enough, the vibe gets down. Everybody starts leaving. And I'm just like,
yeah.
But you're right.
Those are two technical ones.
Read the room. Definitely.
That's huge.
I think for me, like personally, like as an artist, I think the hardest part for me has been finding a studio that can take my sound.
Sure.
My producer, shout out to James Petrichor, producer. But like James has told me often, he's like, we need to get you like on a stage outside. And I don't mean to boast when I say this, okay, but it's like my voice, it could be so powerful that it the EQ side, you know? Okay. So like I could be singing and then it'll top off and then you can start hearing the
clicks.
Yeah, it starts clicking. And he was like, you need a bigger studio. And I've used bigger studios and it still does it. And they're telling me, they're like, you need to sing live outside because that way your noise, like your sound will resonate how it resonates and we'll just record it live. But it sucks because there's not enough big of a studio in El Paso where I can record internally that it will take my sound. So most of the time I've had to find myself literally lowering my pitch, sometimes even a whole octave, just so that it can pick it up, you know? And it sucks because I'm just like, I want to give my full sound and I can't because it doesn't, it picks it up, but then it starts doing the and I'm just like, man, this sucks. But
have you tried Beacon Hill Recording Studios?
I have with Orlando and Alfredo. Yes. And they're amazing. Shout out to Orlando.
Yeah, he's actually my mentor. Oh I used to work at Beacon Hill for a while.
They helped me also like years ago. They helped me with creating my submission video to American Idol years ago, and I got accepted. So I was in season 18 of American Idol. Didn't make it all the way to the end, but it was really cool. It was a really cool adventure, and
by the way,
thank you so much. But it was an adventure with that, and I'm just like, you know what, like we gotta just keep going, you know. But I'm still looking for a big enough studio. I've gone out to what is it called, to Sonic Ranch in Tornillo, and shout out to Tony también, and that studio I fell in love with. It's crazy out of my budget, but one day
it's just so nice.
It's a dreamer's, you know, it's an artist's dream come true, hopefully, you know. Tony, wink wink, takes pity on me and he just says, just come and record for free, Liana. You know, that'd be wonderful.
Christmas present.
Christmas present, you know? You missed my birthday.
Ooh.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the industry itself, how has the music industry evolved since you started, like especially in the realm of independent artists?
Ooh. Well, I know that back then, before I even started, it was more like go and get signed by a label, and then your problem will be like all resolved. And they're not. Yeah, no.
You know, I have such qualms with that because there's so many agencies out there that are, you know, here's $100,000, but they're expecting you to give them back 4 million, and it's like, how, you know, and it's just like for me personally in this industry, like I decided to just stay independent, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna make my music whenever I have time and then whenever I want to, versus, you know, selling my soul.
Exactly.
It's crazy, you know. But we won't talk about that now. Go ahead.
So that's how I know how it started, and then I guess that's how it's been evolving. I studied abroad in New Zealand, which is off topic.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this class where they were telling me about contracts, and that's how I know how it's been evolving. And they told about, well, you know, back in the day, record labels use these type of contracts, and they have all these little details in them. They have retention periods. I don't know if you know what that is. Oh yeah, of course you do. I'm like, what am I talking to? And once I learned that, I realized I'm like, okay, the label way is easier technically because they do the work for you and like marketing.
Just remember that they want you perpetually for life.
Yeah.
That means they want your soul for eternity.
Basically.
So anything that says perpetual, say no.
Yes. And then from there, I realized that the independent way is better. So I guess the way it's been changing is that more people have realized this kind of aspect and less people get signed. What they do now is that they sign specific tracks. Not just you and the artist. They'll just sign, I don't know, maybe one of your like top hit tracks, and then that's it. So I think the way it's been evolving is that they've been evolving from, instead of signing the artist, they sign the tracks.
They sign the tracks, which I've been seeing a lot from artists coming out from Ghana and Africa. Like, a lot of African singers, you know. I think like last year just happened to be like that wave of African songs that like they started like viralizing with dance and TikTok and everything, which don't get me wrong, like I found a lot of really cool singers. And I'm just like, man, like Africa has really good talent. Like I can say that they have a lot of talent, down to the kids, like with their crazy, you know, dances and stuff. But I'm just like, okay, do you think we'll ever see that wave here in the United States where we're going to see a wave of just boom, like artists?
I want to say yes.
I want to see that.
Yeah, like I think right now is one of the where more creatives are, you know, happening now more day. I feel like people are taking more advantage of the fact that they have a lot of platforms to put their stuff out, to test it out, to see if it works. So I think we're close to it, but I feel like we're in a 50-50. Because I feel like sometimes we're just remaking tracks, if I'm being honest. Like it's like more of using things that already came out of inspiration and kind of mimicking them instead of having them as an inspiration and doing something different.
So like with that being said, how do you stay ahead of the trends but still staying true to yourself? So
that's actually very interesting. Well, what I think is that people always say, hey, pick a genre. Like, especially for production, everyone that I've known, like, pick a genre. And I guess the way that I think that I am staying ahead of the trend is I never stay in one genre. I just make what makes me feel good, what makes me move, what makes me enjoy the song. Yeah. And then I just release it as a, I guess, multiple genre artist, if that makes sense. And I think that's the way I've been staying true to myself, as well as being ahead of the trend. Because I know, for example, right now what's trending is techno's coming back, tech house is trending as well. But I don't want to fall into those. I do have some tracks that are like a techno track, but I feel like it still has my version of myself in it, which is like the little bassy stuff. I don't know how to explain it. It's like well, if you hear my tracks, like you hear that they have a certain type of like bass rhythm.
Wait, I have a really cool techno singer for you. So I don't know if you know Jessica Sachs.
I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna have to connect you to.
Please, that'd be great.
Because she did songs with Chris Dom recently, really? And it gives it kind of a Selena feel. And I'm just like, I always told her, I'm like, I was telling her in the actual podcast, I'm like, man, if you put a little techno but a little bit more EDM style to it, I think she could like make that song blow out the water, like straight up. Like the song itself, like it's so catchy and it has such a good hook that it makes you listen to it over again and again. I remember when she first pulled it out, I was like, I had it on repeat, and my daughter was like, she was annoyed by me. She's like, why do you keep putting the same song? I'm like, how could you not? It is catchy. So good, it's good, you know when it's a good song when you have it on repeat on your
exactly
on your phone or on your radio. But it's like, I think that's what we all aim for as artists. Somebody that's going to be streaming our music over and over, because we did that, and they love it and they vibe with it, you know?
Yeah. I think the best feeling is actually when you take something out and you produce it, just like you said it, like it made me feel good. I was like, oh my God, you listen to my tracks, you like the stuff, you like my style. It makes me feel good. It's like, okay, that means like other people vibe to what I'm making. Yeah. It's just pretty good.
And that's like I said, that's what we aim for, you know? So that being said, then what is the impact that you hope to make, not just musically, but culturally and socially?
Ooh, okay. So I guess the impact I try to make is just try to follow what gives you peace and calm. You know, something that feels natural to you. And I guess just have people stop overthinking the things. I guess that's my biggest impact in my just style in general of music, is just enjoy what you want to enjoy and don't worry about the rest. I think that's what I'm trying to make as an impact. And just here locally, I'm just trying to have people hopefully influence them in the way that, hey, if you want to try something, go for it, do it, and follow through if you want to keep going. If you don't, it's okay. No problem. But just feel what you want to feel at that moment, do what you want to do at the moment, and just enjoy it, and stop overthinking what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen today, what's going to happen in a couple of years.
Now. Yeah,
and just enjoy it. Like at the end of the day, I feel like we are in a world of, we live literally in the future, and even something's in the past, and no one really lives in the present. And if whatever you do can somehow keep you in the present, then I want to say keep doing that, because that's what's going to make you actually enjoy your life better.
Yeah. So that being said, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, artistically, professionally, and personally?
Okay. Well, I know that I technically right now professionally has been 3 to 4 years of like hard work. And if I'm being honest, I'm really trying to push myself to hopefully start playing more bigger festivals. Because the only festival I played was in Juarez, and it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually the best experience of my life.
Yeah. It
was so cool because it rained, and it was like it was awesome.
And then being with water, you got me there.
Yeah, it was just so great, and people were just vibing, and then it was just so fun. But if what I'm being honest, my goal is to have a full album this year, and then the following year is just to make sure that my music can reach people in the way that music has reached myself. So I guess my goal is to hopefully by that time be touring in like festivals and stuff like that, and just hoping that my music reaches another level. That's literally what I see myself 5 years.
Yeah.
And I guess in the regular life, I mean, just continue being healthy and enjoying, you know, like what I do and staying active. I'm a very active person, so I guess I spend 5 years just continue being active.
Yes.
But the goal is I would love to hopefully in 5 years collaborate with San Holo. If I can do that, that's one of my biggest goals. Like just collaborate with Lara.
Tell San Holo, like if you're watching this, I want to collab with you. Tell him.
Yeah. Right. Well, hey, San Holo, we're gonna collab sooner, right? Just know that, because he always says, "Stay vibrant."
Yes.
And it's kind of like what I follow through. I try to stay vibrant most of the time. You know, that's kind of where I see myself in like 5 years.
Do you have a specific philosophy or a mantra of your own?
Well, I guess, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say a mantra, but I guess it's what I usually say. People know me for. It's pretty funny. I always say stay juicy, or I say like the nutrients are in the juice. Yeah. It's
of your shirt.
Yeah, it's like stay juicy. I even have stickers, which is pretty funny. And everyone, like all my friends that know me, they're like, stay juicy, and they make fun of me, if I'm being honest. But I don't know, it's something that kind of like came together.
Yeah.
And the story behind it's actually pretty funny. So my grandma, Mexican grandmas, you know, like to make caldo de pollo when it's like super hot for some reason.
I always make caldo de res when it's hot outside.
Yeah. It's
the summer.
It's like a Mexican thing, I don't know. And she was telling me, she's like, in Spanish, she was saying, oh, los nutrientes están en el caldo. Entonces nomás como el puro caldo. And it sounds like, okay, cool. So then when I heard that, I transitioned it to English, and I was like, the nutrients are in the juice. And I was like, stay juicy. And then, yeah, it's just literally like, I guess my mantra that I use.
So your grandma inspired you to stay juicy?
Yeah, she inspired me to stay juicy, to get the nutrient in the juice, you know?
I love that. Okay, well, for our closing remarks, I would just like to ask you one last thing. And if you can look at the camera.
Perfect.
And just tell the listeners how they can support you, how they can follow your journey, and any final piece of advice that you'd like to give the people that are in the same footsteps that you are in.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone supporting me up to this day. If I'm being honest, all of you guys, the reason I'm here is because of you guys. So I really appreciate that. And if you want to, support me in any way, you could just follow me on my socials and, listen to my music. At the end of the day, if you listen to my music and it makes you feel some type of way, then that's perfect. If you tell me, I will be more than happy to, talk with you about it and just be happy that you came up to me and, and said like, hey, do you like music? I think that's one of the best way that you can support any artist. And I guess the message that I would give to anyone is support your friends, that want to make something different out of the usual, and just to be true to yourself and what you want to do. Follow your passion and know that once you start following your passion, it might be kind of lonely at times, but it's okay because it's going to be worth it at the end. It's just hard work takes time. So in order for you to be successful, and I guess in my definition is you have to show up every day, even though you don't see results. So just, keep it up and stay juicy.
You heard that. Stay juicy. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm grateful for you being here and for giving us just so much about engineering, about production, about DJ work, about the culture. It was a pleasure to have you here today.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Till next time, guys, we'll see you on the next episode of Echoes and Aesthetics.
Can't lose weight? Don't worry anymore. Try the Medical Weight Loss Program by Dr. Monica Denning and reach your goals safely and effectively. Visit us at livelifebetterclinic.com. Call 915-545-1261. Your best version is waiting.